Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. This is SST Edupedia. Myself, Assistant Professor Sunil Shah. Today I will be covering up the topic under the subject called Business Law. The topic name is Types of Writs, and it is there in the class FY by Bombay University course, and the SEM 2 and the Unit 2. This particular topic has been covered. Students, as you are aware, the writs are special type of petition which have been filed only at two courts in India, which is High Court and the Supreme Court. In rest of the different courts like first class magistrate court or second class judicial magistrate court or session court, these types of writs are not allowed. So it is only in High Court or Supreme Court of India the writs are being filed for the utmost urgent cases. This type of petition would be filed and it would be called as writs. In this topic, in this video, I would be covering up the introduction of the writs, types of the writ jurisdiction of the courts, and the conclusion about this particular video. Writs are a written order from the superior court, in this case Supreme Court or the High Court, that commands the constitutional remedies for the Indian citizens against the violation of their fundamental rights. So students, we are aware, being a citizen of India, we should have that particular liberty, and we are having that particular rights and duties towards the Indian nations, and the rights are being governed under the fundamental rights under the Constitution of India. Article 32 of the Indian Constitution deals with the constitutional remedies that an Indian citizen can seek from the Supreme Court of India and the High Court against the violation of their fundamental rights. So if there is any of their rights are being infringed, if there is a violation done by any public authority, then you can easily go into the Supreme Court or High Court by filing the writ petition. The same articles gives the Supreme Court power to issue writs for the enforcement of the rights, whereas the High Court has the same rights under the Article 226. So when a person files a case in the form of writ in Supreme Court, it is governed under Article 32, and when the person files a writ petition under the High Court, the article governing is Article 226. Coming to the types of writs, we have different types of writs which are as there. Habeas corpus is one of the type of the writs. Second is writ of mandamus, writ of prohibition, writ of certiorari, and writ of quo warranto are the different types of writs which are been given valid by the Constitution of India. Coming to the explanation point of habeas corpus, the Latin meaning of the word habeas corpus is to have a body, that the writs is used to enforce the fundamental rights of the individual's liberty against unlawful detention. So when the police officer detains any person which is unlawful, when the nearest person whom to be informed is not been informed by the police officer, then the persons whose custody has been taken by the police officer and has been not informed about his whereabouts, then the nearest person can file the case in the form of writ, and the writ's name is writ of habeas corpus. Through the habeas corpus, the Supreme Court, the High Court orders one person who has arrested by the another person to bring the body of the letter before the court. Okay, the habeas corpus, if you see in this particular slide, the Supreme Court, the High Court can issue the writs against both the private or the public authorities. So whatever the public authorities are there related to Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, or if it is related to railways or any private authorities also, the habeas corpus can be issued. The habeas corpus cannot be issued in the following cases: when there is a detention is lawful. So when the police officer detains any person which is lawful, then in such cases habeas corpus cannot be issued. The second important point is that when the proceeding is for the contempt of the legislature or the court, whenever there is a contempt done by any of the person against the court or against the tribunal, in such cases also the habeas corpus remedy cannot be applied. Detention is by competent court. If there is a competent court, if it detains any person, and when the court feels like it is very urgent to detain that person, then in such cases the rights of habeas corpus cannot be utilized. And if the detention is outside the jurisdiction of the court, in such cases also the writ of habeas corpus cannot be used. So students, please remember, habeas corpus is mostly used for unlawful detention by the public or the private authority. And the very important case I like to inform you about, the case of Union of India versus SB Varakshi. The Supreme Court of India held that A writ of mandamus may be issued in favor of a person who is established a legal right in himself. It may be issued against a person who has legal duty to perform but has failed to or has neglected to do so. Such a legal duty animates the operation by law. The writ of mandamus is most extensive in regards to the remedial nature. The object of mandamus is to prevent the disorder enacting from the failure of the justice and is required to be granted in all cases where the law is established when no specific remedy is available. Coming to the explanation of the mandamus, students had explained you about the case law under the writ of mandamus. Today I will be explaining what you mean by writ of mandamus. The writ of mandamus can be issued in the following circumstances: against the state to refund the tax if it is collected illegally, against the university if there is a change in the regulations which is governed or framed by the university after the candidature or the candidate has appeared in the exam to his disadvantage, where the government neither records nor communicates the party the reasons for not making a reference under section 12 subsection 5 of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and the aggrieved party can seek the legal recourse of mandamus when the Income Tax Tribunal has passed an order under the Income Tax Act 1961 and the Income Tax Officer refused to carry out the instructions passed by the tribunal, where the Land Acquisition Officer has anonymously purposely refused to pay the interest on the compensation amount, where the order of detention is passed against the petitioner but is not under the detention. So these are the special circumstances under which the writ of mandamus can be issued. We will be informing about the state to refund the tax, against the university, against the government neither records or communicate the parties under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, under the Income Tax Tribunal if it is not obeying to the orders passed by the tribunal, under the Land Acquisition Act and the Land Acquisition Officer does not obey the amount to be passed to the person who has been victim, and order of detention is passed against the petitioner but not for the detention. In such cases, writ of mandamus can be issued. The meaning of writ of mandamus is a command which is prerogative remedy of mandamus is issued for enforcing the performance of public duties by the public authorities of all kinds. Writ of mandamus demands some activity on the part of the person to whom it has been addressed. A demand is to perform the public or quasi public duty which the body or the person has refused to perform and the performance of which cannot be enforced by any other legal remedy. Therefore, it is not a mandamus it will accept when the applicant has legal right to seek the performance of legal duty and the authority against which the writ is bound to perform that duty. So please remember, students, the writ of mandamus can be issued to perform the public duty which they are liable to perform but they are not performing. It can be through any of the court or it can be through any of the quasi-judicial body or it can be through tribunal. So writ of mandamus if the court orders commanding on an inferior court, that is a Supreme Court to higher court or high court to the lower courts like first class magistrate court or judicial board or the judicial magistrate court or the session court or the tribunals like income tax or motor accident tribunal, or it would be the tribunal related to GST council, to perform an official duty correctly. If there is a mistake from on that part, the higher authority will command, and that is called as writ of mandamus. The writ of mandamus cannot be issued on the following cases: to enforce a departmental instruction that does not possess statutory force. The writ of mandamus cannot be enforced to order someone to work what kind of work is discretionary and not mandatory. So there is a thin line of borderline of difference between the discretionary and the mandatory work which has to be performed by the public authority. To enforce contractual obligation, mandamus cannot be issued against the Indian president or the state governor. So these two particular posts, which is that of the president and the governor, the writ of mandamus cannot be issued. Against the Chief Justice of High Court or the Chief Justice of Supreme Court in any judicial capacity, the writ of mandamus cannot be issued, but impeachment motion can be passed against the Chief Justice of the High Court or the President or the Governor. Coming to the important discussion related to case law, in case of SP Gupta versus of Union of India in 1981, the judges ruled that the President of India cannot have the writ issued against him that directs him to fix the number of judges of the High Court and fill the vacancy. So this type of point cannot be discussed through the writs to fill up the vacancy of the judges of High Court or the Supreme Court against the Chief Justice of India. The courts cannot issue a writ of mandamus against the person like the President and the governors of any state. So writ of mandamus is a court order commanding an inferior court or a public authority to perform an official duty correctly which they are not performing. Coming to the next part of the writ, which is called writ of prohibition. Writ of prohibition literally means to forbid. It is issued by the higher court or the lower court or a tribunal to prevent the latter from exceeding its jurisdiction. So whenever the court or a tribunal exceeds the limit which is not been given or by the Constitution of India, then the person can apply into the High Court or under Article 226, and it can apply under the Supreme Court under Article 32 to file a writ of prohibition and asking the inferior court not to exceed the limits or not to exceed the jurisdiction which is not been assigned as per the Constitution of India, or that it does not possess that type of jurisdiction but still they are acting. In such cases, writ of prohibition can be executed against the court. Thus, unlike the mandamus that directs the activity, prohibition directly stops their inactivity. In simple terms, the writ is issued by the High Court or the Supreme Court when the lower court is considered a case against beyond its jurisdiction. So, if any court like Consumer Court or Motor Accident Tribunal Court or National Commission Redressal Forum or any of the courts are exceeding the limits which is not been given under the Constitution or any law in force, in such cases, writ of prohibition can be executed by the higher court to the lower court. Writ of prohibition can be issued only against the judicial and quasi-judicial authorities. It cannot be used against the administrative authorities or legislative bodies and private individuals or bodies. So students, if you see, both the writs were against the public authorities, but writ of prohibition is only for the judicial or quasi-judicial bodies. Coming to the case of writ of prohibition in case of Brij Khandelwal versus India, the Delhi High Court refused to issue the prohibition to the central government to prevent from entering into an agreement between Sri Lanka regarding the boundary dispute. So such type of writs are being permitted if the court feels it is necessary to issue a writ of prohibition. In this case, Delhi High Court refused to issue prohibition to the central government to prevent entering into the agreement between the Sri Lanka regarding the boundary dispute. The decision was based on the principle of prohibition that does not lie against the government discharging their executive functions, and that the prohibition is intended to control the quasi-judicial and not the executive function. So whenever the India is having an agreement with any other country, in such case the central government is executing an executory functions which is not quasi-judicial or not a judicial. So students, if I coming to the previous slide, I had explained you, it is issued against judicial and quasi-judicial authorities and not against the administrative authorities, legislative bodies, private individuals or the bodies. Next comes the writ of certiorari. The writ of certiorari means to be certified or to be informed. This writ is issued by the court higher in authority to be lower court or a tribunal, ordering them either to transfer the case pending in that court to the superior court or quash that particular order which has been passed by the lower court when it doesn't have any such authority. It is issued on the grounds of excess of jurisdiction or lack of jurisdiction or the error in the law or any other error in giving the judgment. It is not only to prevent but also cures the mistake which has been committed by the lower court if they are not having the powers as laid by the Constitution of India. The certiorari is issued by the superior court to the inferior or subordinate courts, tribunals and other public authorities to submit the record of the proceedings for a review. A review is taken by the higher court which they are eligible. Generally, the writ of certiorari was issued by the Supreme Court or High Court for quashing the order passed by the inferior court or the subordinate courts, tribunals or other judicial authorities. Condition under which the writ of certiorari is to be performed, there must be a court, tribunal or authorized person having a legal right to act judicially. Second point is that such a court, tribunal or the quasi-judicial body or the officer in charge must have acted or passed an order without the jurisdiction or excess of the judicial authority. If the order has passed against the principle of natural justice, also the higher court can ask them to review the order or quash the order or cancel the order. If the order contains an error in the judgment, then the Supreme Court or the higher court, like High Court, may ask them to rectify the error in the judgment. If it is against the constitution or contravention of the fundamental rights, also writ of certiorari can be exercised. The case law, leading case law, which is there explaining about Basappa versus Nagappa. In this case, Supreme Court examined the writ of certiorari under the Indian context. It was stated that the court does not change or substitute the judgment of a lower court by this writ, but rather examines the jurisdiction of the tribunal below and observes the qualifying condition in the course of such a judgment has been issued. The limitation and the scope of the writ were formulated in this judgment. So students, please remember the higher court reviews the judgment if it has been passed by mistake by the lower court. Coming to the next one, type of the writ, there is writ of quo warranto. The meaning of quo warranto is by that by what authority or by warrant. The Supreme Court, the High Court issues this writ to prevent illegal aspiration of the public office by a person. Through this writ, the court inquires into legality of the claim of a person to a public office. Fact about the quo warranto is that the quo warranto can be issued only when the substantial public office or a permanent character created by the statute or by the law or by the constitution is involved, and it cannot be issued against the private or ministerial office. Quo warranto means on what warrant. This writ is issued individual holding a public office. It is issued to restrain, that is avoiding individual from holding the public office which they are not entitled to hold on. Upon issuing the writ of quo warranto, the individual in question needs to explain his qualification and the authority to hold the public office. In instance where the individual express, that is accessing the limits, the public office and continue that term beyond the term which has been sanctioned, then in such cases such as retirement age or superannuation age, the Supreme Court or the High Court may issue a writ of quo warranto and even announce the office to be vacant or to be vacated. The leading case of quo warranto is case of Rajesh Aswati versus Nandlal Jaiswal of 2013. It was laid that the quo warranto applies where the appointment is made which is contrary to the statutory provisions, when there is appointment which is made against the law, and came into the test that determined whether the person is eligible, qualified to hold the office as per the stipulation of the law. Or when the IPS officer or IAS officer or any of the officer which has been given some post which has not been allowed as per the law, then in such cases writ of quo warranto can be issued. The key point is to see if the officer holder has the qualification to hold the office as per the law, not respect to statutory provisions. Now explaining about who can file the writ. A writ petition can be filed by any person who is a citizen of India whose fundamental rights has been infringed, been taken out by the state under the public interest litigation. Any public spirited person may file a writ petition in the interest of the general public, even if its own fundamental rights have not been infringed. So if it is infringed, you still can find out, you can still file a fundamental writ, or if it is not been infringed, but it is, if he wants to do under public interest litigation, he can file a writ petition. Where can a writ petition be filed? So students, as I am aware, in the first slide I have told you, it can be filed at High Court or it can be filed at Supreme Court. Under Article 32, the writ petition can be filed only in Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can issue a writ only if the petitioner can prove that his fundamental rights has been infringed. It is important to note that the right to approach the Supreme Court is in case of violation of fundamental rights is in itself a fundamental right, since it is contained in Part 3 of the Constitution of India. Under Article 226, the writ petition can be filed at any of the high courts of the state within whom the jurisdiction of the cause of action has been occurred, either wholly or in part. It is immaterial if the authority against whom the writ petition is filed is within the territory or not. So students, please remember, this is a very important point. It is immaterial if the authority against whom the writ petition is filed is within the territory or not. The power of High Court is to issue writs is much wider than that of Supreme Court. So difference here is fundamental rights, and here is the cause of action which is been arose. Where the Supreme Court, where the writ petition can be filed, the High Court may grant a writ petition for the enforcement of fundamental rights for any other purpose, such as violation of statutory duties by the statutory authorities. The writ petition can be filed at Supreme Court or a High Court where the fundamental rights have been infringed. Either Supreme Court or High Court can ask them to restore their fundamental rights. It is not necessary to go to the High Court first and only thereafter to approach to Supreme Court. However, if the writ petition is filed directly in the Supreme Court, the petitioner has to establish why the High Court he has not approached. So students, as you are aware, under Article 32 at Supreme Court, under Article 2 to 6 at High Court, you can directly go into Supreme Court, but you have to explain to this Supreme Court or make them understand what are the reasons why they has not approached to the High Court and directly went into Supreme Court. Conclusion part: the writ are the formal written petition given by the courts to enforce the right of the constitutional remedies in instance of the fundamental rights or the violation of the fundamental rights. The Supreme Court and the High Court of India are authorized by Article 232 or Article 226 respectively of the Indian Constitution. It is interesting to note that the writs are adopted from the British law, which they were known as purgative writs. Thank you from my side. Today in this particular slides or this particular videos I explained you different types of writs. Thank you from my side.